What up, y'all? DCFAYGOGUY. Welcome back to What's Happening Now, our look into the underground happenings. Got a few things I want to talk about, so I figured we'd do an episode. A lot of this episode is really going to focus in on Low Key. He dropped his summer and his fall schedule. This schedule goes all the way until Halloween. There's a lot to really dive into. It's going to take up the major chunk of this. But first, I do want to talk a little bit about some things that have been announced for The Gathering. Now, The Gathering, steaming closer and closer along. We don't have the full lineup. However, there has been a tease over on Shaggy's Instagram showing Jay and Shaggy and their characters, Fats Pepper and Guy Gorfie. If you're not familiar with them, there used to be a show that ICP did years ago. It was kind of their news show where they would talk about things that were, upcoming in the psychopathic news. They would have different guests that would come on, but Violent J and Shaggy always portrayed Guy Gorfie and Fats Pepper, and the show was called Weekly Freakly Weekly. Now, I don't think this is a full-fledged return of Weekly Freakly Weekly. I think this instead is going to be them dropping the Gathering infomercial, because they have done that in the past. They've donned the characters and done a full-fledged infomercial as these characters. And let me just say, I, for one, am excited that that is what they're going to do, if that is what they're going to do for the infomercial, because one, it's been a while, and two, it seemed like the last couple years, they did it more so in like a live stream format where they would sit and live stream and talk about the different artists, which that was an okay format. I always found the actual infomercials to be more entertaining. And one other thing I'm going to throw in there, and I have nothing positive to say about it, but I am just going to put it out there. But it looks like Sarah Rusi will be in the infomercial. She is officially replacing Sugar Slam. So Splenda Slam has come to full realization. I'll leave it at that. But yes, they are planning, I assume that they are planning to put out an infomercial very, very soon with that little teaser that was put out. But super excited for that. As of right now, I can 99% say I will not be at the Gathering. There's a lot going on financially. We went to Camp Zool. That did take a lot of it. But also, things are just expensive right now. Everything just costs a lot. The Gathering tickets cost a lot. Megs and I sat down and we really kind of looked at it, and we're going to need at least $1,000 to make it to the Gathering. And, as the lineup is getting announced, I'm getting more interested in wanting to go, but I don't think financially it's going to be feasible. So I can almost 100% say now that I don't think I'll be at the Gathering, but there is a lot drawing me now that makes me want to go. I just don't think it's going to be very possible, especially this short notice for me. Maybe next year. Next year's going to be the 30th, and that's going to be a big one. It's supposed to be a reunion, not a full reunion. Obviously, there's several artists that they're still not going to work with because of, feelings. We'll say feelings. But I did want to dive into some of the announcements that they put out. First and foremost, and the reason why I'm going to touch on this is because I do have my thoughts and opinions on it, more or less my advice. But the Juggalo Flea Market was announced that it is going down again this year at the Gathering, and coinciding with it is once again the podcast event. Now, they did this last year. They combined the two. They put it, if you weren't familiar, if you didn't go last year, or if you went last year and you weren't really interested in what that was, they did it inside the seminar tent, or, where they did some of the different competitions. It was under the red tent, and it was hot as fuck in there. Now, if you were a podcaster, you got the bone. I went there. I had just missed seeing the homies from Deco and Dealt. I did see Humble Among. He waved me up onto the stage where he was at, and man, I fucking almost died standing up there just talking to him for a couple minutes. They had all the fans pointed on the flea market, which rightfully so. You have a lot of bodies over there, but the people in the podcast doing the podcast event got the absolute bone. So I hope that this year they'll bring more fans, or they'll find a way to make it work better to where they don't have to sit there and die. I honestly don't even know how half of those streamers were able to run their streams. I feel like if I went and I was doing a live stream there, my shit would have overheated in a goddamn heartbeat. And I say that now knowing that when we were at Camp Zool, Megs was actually trying to film the Q&A for the Super Famous Fun Time guys, and her phone actually overheated there. They had fans there. They had ceiling fans. It was very hot, and her phone overheated and flat out just said, done. It popped up with a little thing. Phone is overheated, cannot use. Couldn't lock it, couldn't do nothing. So if you've watched that Q&A and wondered why it abruptly stopped, that's why. So knowing that, yeah, there was no way I would be able to do a podcast event. And honestly, in my own opinion, I feel like it's just not been properly organized in the last several years that it's been a thing. The very first year they did it right next to main stage. What was last year the second or third time that they did it? I feel like maybe it was the third time. Or was it the second? I don't remember. I honestly don't remember. I've never been invited to it, which is absolutely fine with me. I am not a podcaster, so I am A-okay not getting that invite. And not only that, if I did get invited, I don't think I would do it. Because when I'm at the gathering, I'm not there to work. You know what I mean? I'm there to fucking go see shit myself. I have done vlogs in the past. Megs, every time we go, she vlogs. So when I'm there, I want to be in the moment. And there's been a lot of times that Megs is like, hey, you should get some clips for me. Or, hey, you should take some pictures. And we get home and it's like, I didn't really take much. But I'm becoming more of a person who's trying to be there in the moment. So yeah, I think if I ever got invited, I would probably decline it just because I don't think I want to sit and do a stream. And you guys know how I feel. I don't always do live streams here at home. And streaming is just not really my thing. I prefer to record. So that event is going down. That is one of the ones that they announced. But a big one is they revealed the full lineup for the Ship of Fools, which is a new-ish stage at the gathering this year. It was there last year, but unofficially. It was somebody that was in the Big Ballas had this stage themselves, and it was like right there next to second stage, which was kind of cool because you could kind of bounce between the two. I never went to any of the shows at the Ship of Fools, but now it is its own official stage with its own official lineup. It's officially gathering official. It's on the map. It has a lineup. So I think that that's really cool. And one of the ones on there that I think is really cool that they're performing, I would have loved to see them, on second stage or main stage. They were main stage last year, is Clockworky, which if you don't know, I'm sure you do. They just dropped the Emerald Tablets, which is an amazing album. So if you have not listened to that, make sure you go check it out. And if you have not watched my review, go watch my review. Watch to the end if you are brave. If you are brave. Had a lot of fun doing that. So I want to plug that review because it's one of those reviews where I had fun doing it. So the other thing that I wanted to highlight and point out on here is the Omen stage, which is second stage. They did announce I think they announced the whole thing. Let me go double check that. I think they announced the whole thing. Like, I feel like if I go to the bottom, more artists coming soon. Maybe they haven't fully announced it, but they have announced a ton of artists that are performing. And I want to fully highlight and point out S.O.N's performance. And he did reveal it. As soon as it popped up, I immediately was like, okay, this is going to be the next ritual. Because S.O.N had put out this kind of schedule, if you will, with a bunch of question marks. Camp Zool 4 was on there, and just several question marks. And 3 of them were highlighted in different colors, and those were supposed to be the 3 rituals. His brand new album, The Bastard Son, which is King Umbra, which is the first in the Council of 9. It's kind of like his Joker cards. The first one is coming out. By the end of the year, it'll be out, and he's doing 3 rituals, if you will, special performances that are doubling as rituals to bring forth and birth King Umbra into the world. The first one went down at Camp Zool 4. The second one is now officially going down at the Gathering, and I would assume the third one, it's safe to assume the third one will be at his yearly Halloween event, the Samhain ceremony, which I'm curious if that's going to coincide with Night of the Zooligans. I think it would be really cool for them to make Night of the Zooligans a 2-night thing, have it at Terror Town. If that is going to be the case, I will definitely be doing my damnedest to get to that. That was definitely a very doable event for me. Camp Zool was, I should specify. So I feel like Night of the Zooligans would be fairly similarly priced, maybe a little bit less of a ticket. But yeah, I would almost assume that is going to be the third and final ritual. But the second one is going down at the Gathering of the Juggalos. And if you are interested to really learn a little bit more about what this ritual is going to entail, I would head over to Do It for the Underground here on YouTube. They have a live stream. They live stream the entire performance. And if you check out their latest episode, they actually have some footage as well of the performance. So you can watch that and kind of get an idea of kind of what this ritual is going to entail. I'll kind of briefly summarize it here, but he basically had what looked like an egg on the stage. And the particular ceremony or ritual that he had at Camp Zool was supposed to be the water breaking. That was going to begin the birthing cycle. So the next step, I don't fully know what the next one will entail. But if you want to learn more about it, again, head over to Do It for the Underground here on YouTube. They are, in my opinion, quickly rising to probably a higher news source than Faygo Lovers. But I would rank them up there alongside Faygo Lovers as one of the best news sources, one of the best unbiased news sources. I feel like I should throw unbiased in there. There are tons of news sources out there in the Juggalo YouTube community. There are only a handful of unbiased that cover everything and not just this corner because they hate this corner. So Do It for the Underground is definitely somebody to check out. Subscribe up to them. Follow them on Instagram, follow them on Facebook. They share a lot of things when it's announced, when it comes out, when new music comes out. There's a playlist that Robbie puts together every year of new music, whether it be singles or albums. Robbie fucking kills it. The team over at Do It for the Underground kills it. And they are somebody that you should be subscribed to and following. So again, Do It for the Underground, one of the best unbiased news sources in the Juggalo community. So make sure you go check them out. Now, I want to dive into this because, like I said, this is a big one for me. I didn't expect to, see so much shit on this, but low-key has revealed his schedule for the end of summer and fall. It runs all the way up to Halloween. I'll probably be showing it on the screen. In fact, I might just, for the sake of my editing self later, I might just scooch over a little bit so I can have it up here the whole time so you guys can see. I am looking at it on the computer. I am filming on my phone. It's something new I'm trying. So tell me down below if you like this better. Higher quality, I hope. Maybe not as bad of quality. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. Let me know what you think about that. But anyway, absolutely so much shit packed into this. Usually his schedules are, but this one had a lot of things that really was like, oh shit, oh shit. I had a lot of oh shit moments going over this. The one that is happening actually right now just started. Technically it was supposed to start Friday, but it didn't really start until early today. I'm filming this on the 13th. You're probably watching this episode on the 14th. That's kind of when I've already made my decision of when I want to upload this. But the buy two, get one free sale is going on right now over at shadowlandshop.com. And it is for just t-shirts. Going into this, I wondered if this was going to be for CDs as well or for anything on the site. A little bit disappointed that it wasn't for everything on the site and it's just for t-shirts. But for anybody that's been eyeballing t-shirts, now is your time to grab some because buy two, you get one free. You use a special code and yeah, that'll get you your third one for absolutely free. If you've been following Low-Key, you probably already know about it. And if you haven't been, then you should probably go look into Low-Key. He is the shit. But that is the first one. Is going down already. And on the 16th, which I believe, I don't want to math right now because I'm kind of tired. This coming Tuesday, Batty Bat is releasing something called Moonlight. I have to assume this is a single. Anytime in the past that there have been singles released, it's always been in quotations. Or, you know, if it's a specially themed mask that he releases, anything like that. I'm sure you're probably seeing that on the schedule right now as well. But it's typically like a single or an album or, you know, something audio related. So Batty Bat's putting out something called Moonlight. Again, I assume a single, which is really fucking cool because I'm still bouncing off of Fall from Grace, which is the album she put out back in February. If you have not listened to that and you enjoy metal music, definitely go check that out as well. And then Slash Happy Saturday is continuing to go. And if you don't know, Slash Happy Saturday it's like a really special, really special. It's these really cool designs that Loke has been doing now for over a year. He might be going on like 2 years of doing this now. But it's basically cute little characters, and maybe I'll flash a quick design for you guys to see. Maybe I'll just flash them all real quick for you so you can see, because there's a lot of really cool ones that he's done. But it's basically cute little characters, but horror themed. And some of my favorite ones have definitely been Freddy Krueger and definitely Ghostface. The "No, you hang up" is so funny. They're cool little characters that he's done. It's, you know, happy, giddy little characters, but they're slash happy. They're horror. I actually absolutely love these designs. I think they're really fucking cool. And he's continuing the series with 4 more dropping throughout the next month and a half. Looks like the last one's going to drop on August 30th and August 31st. And he did confirm that this is going to be a new series. This isn't the old ones, but in the past, when he brought out Series 2, he brought Series 1 back and made them available for anyone to order. It's not just t-shirts. You can get posters, can koozies. I believe he had, what else did he have for it? It was can koozies, it was coasters, I think tumblers maybe even. But he has a couple different different merch items with the design on it. If you don't want a t-shirt, or you know, you want something that's not $25, maybe you just want to buy a $5 koozie. I think that's how much his koozies cost. But the Slash Happy designs, I think they're really cool. Yeah, definitely excited to see more of what he comes out with those. And then on July 26th, we have a mystery drop. That has my attention. And I'm going to kind of highlight them so I can kind of go over them as I continue to go down this schedule. But he is doing several VR events as well. If I've talked about it in the past, but if you haven't watched the episode where I talked about it, Loke is all about VR right now, and it's really cool and innovative what he's been doing with that. Basically, he has these little meetups. He has a Discord server called the Dreamwalkers, and it's through Meta. You use the VR headset. You don't have to have that. If you have a Samsung phone, you can use it. Or if you have a PC, you can also, using Stream, download VR chat. That is what he uses. And the best way that I can describe them, it's kind of like meeting up with your friends at the club. It's the best way I can describe it. I've seen a couple live streams from a few people who have attended some of these events. So if you're into that kind of thing, if you have a VR headset, or if you have a computer or an Android and you want to check it out, that would be something fun to do. But also there is something else that I want to kind of micro plug here, is the homie Red Hood Juggalo has actually been running his own series of VR events as well. So he's been inspired by Loke doing these, and he's kind of picked it up and started doing it as well. I don't know if it's officially affiliated with Loke in that way or with Dreamwalkers, but I know that Red Hood Juggalo has been doing them as well. So follow him on Twitter for more details about that. If you want to even hit up even more VR events, I think it's something very innovative, very cool. I don't have the money to drop on a VR headset right now, and I'm super scared to download it on my computer just because I edit videos, and when I went to get Steam, it looked like it was going to take up a bunch of room, and I'm just like, you know, I don't want to slow my computer down. That affects me doing videos. Maybe not so much now since I'm using my phone, but Megs also uses the computer, and I don't want to, you know, take that away from her. So I have no way of getting to these VR events just yet, but someday I'm hoping to make it to some of these because they sound really fun. So I'm going to start jumping around a little bit more now because there's things that I really want to highlight and talk about. But some of the biggest things announced on this was Fraggle Swag 2, which is coming out August 6th. And this one, I did not expect this to happen. I wasn't expecting this album to come out. If you don't know what Fraggle Swag is, Fraggle Swag was a parody album that Loke put out, gosh, back in 2012 he put that out? And it was more or less his parody of like swag rap. Like, you won't be able to go stream it. You won't be able to find it on any of the streaming services. It's not even on listentoloki.com. The only way to hear this album is to buy it physically. It's one of those, it's so bad, it's good kind of things. Loke is clearly just fucking around throughout that entire album. He's literally, I got that Fraggle swag. I got that Fraggle swag. I got that Fraggle swag. That's like one of the choruses that he has. Complete parody of, you know, mainstream music. One thing that I've been talking about in a couple of Discord servers and to a few other people is I would absolutely die laughing. I would absolutely love it if for Fraggle Swag 2, if Loke was rapping on some similar type beats, or even straight up if he bought beats from Devereaux and did some of the like trap style that trap style rap that has become super prominent in the Juggalo scene right now. If that is what he does with Fraggle Swag 2, I will fucking die of just awesomeness. Because it's so prominent. Everybody's doing it. Everyone is doing that shit. And it's not my cup of tea. And, you know, hats off to people that are out there doing their thing and grinding it. But it's like, if I today decided I wanted to start rapping, that would not be the style that I would be wanting to do, because everyone's doing it. How can you stand out when everyone is doing it? And I think that kind of jumps back for me back to like 20 years ago, and why, you know, a lot of underground artists I ignored for so many years, because it was always kind of like, you can tell a lot of them were trying to sound like ICP, or they were trying to sound like more successful underground artists or horrorcore artists, if you will. And for me, for the longest time, that's where horrorcore kind of got tucked away for me. It was off in the corner, like, okay, you guys are doing this. It all kind of sounds the same to me. I'm enjoying this. And I was really a bad juggalo in the fact of, like, if it wasn't someone that got that stamp from Psychopathic, that Hatchet Man on it, I didn't really fuck with it. That mindset has completely changed and been erased, because now a lot of the artists that were killing it in the underground 20 years ago, I'm diving in and checking out. I'm like, God damn, where the fuck have you guys been? You know, I'm talking Gruesome, Mad Max, Low Key, Mission Infect, fucking Class. You know, there's so many dope underground artists that were killing it all those years ago. And, you know, I just never would have given them the time of day, because, you know, I was so, I guess you would say, brainwashed to, like, if it's not Psychopathic, it ain't shit. So that has completely changed. But yeah, I would lose it if Fraggle Swag 2 is on some trap shit. I think what I told people was, is if he's on Devereaux type beats doing Ouija Mac type shit, I will lose my shit. That shit would be hilarious. It would ruffle so many feathers. It's not even funny. Like, I kind of don't want Loke to get that kind of heat, but on the same hand, like, you know, he's been killing it on his own anyway, so what really could they do? It's kind of like Loke right now is where ICP was in 1999 when Sharon Osbourne was threatening to fucking end ICP's career. That's where Loke is right now. I think Loke is just his own churning entity. He's never been signed to a label, and he has the massive following that he does off of just grinding. He's gotten Violent J's attention, you know, more than once. He's been on the Tunnel Runners. He's gotten shout-outs from Violent J. He's rubbed elbows with him. He's performed at the Gathering multiple times. Mission Infect has performed at the Gathering multiple times. Loke is his own beast. And I don't think any amount of, like, blacklisting that someone tries to do to him is going to affect him. He's his own fucking beast. So, yeah, Fraggle Swag 2 is definitely something that has my attention on this schedule. And the really big one here that has my eyes is the MI draft, the Mission Infect draft. I actually reached out to a couple people who I know have been following Mission Infect for years, and even they were kind of like, oh, they had never heard of this being done before. So my assumption, and I think it was Robbie from Do It For The Underground that I was kind of talking about, and he was kind of, I think he's the one that said it, and I was like, oh, that makes sense. But he feels like maybe it's going to be a draft style, like lottery, you know, like an actual draft, like kind of what the NFL does, where he's going to draft new members to Mission Infect. And maybe he'll have it to where fans get to vote. That would be really fucking cool. That would be really fucking interesting. Something to note that it just popped into my head. This schedule right here shows that it will be September 11th. Loke didn't really think about the date when he put that on there, so he did change it. It will actually go down on the 10th, obviously to pay respects to, you know, the victims of 9/11. But the MI draft absolutely has my attention. I will definitely be waiting for that to happen. I think that's going to fall on if I remember correctly, when he said he was changing the date, he just picked a random Monday. That's Wednesday. So he's going to do it on a Tuesday. Okay, yeah. So yeah, the MI draft definitely has my attention. I don't know what at all it's going to entail. But if I had to guess, I would have to agree with Robbie that it's probably going to be a draft where they're going to recruit new members to Mission Infect. And I'm already immediately thinking of artists out there that I think would be absolutely great for Mission Infect. So, yeah, that's definitely one that's standing out to me. The Oddworld Weekend is one that last year I almost bought some shit from. It's basically like variant versions of albums and variant versions of like shirt designs and things like that. That was a really cool thing to see. Like, for instance, the Neon Sermon album, instead of green, it was red. That was pretty cool. There's a work shirt weekend going down in September. And then the next two things that have my attention, one of them is the Pumpkin Pale Weekend. Like, I don't know if that means we're getting pumpkin pails, different designs of pumpkin pails, or if that means kind of like these bundle sales with pumpkin pails, or they could fit in a pumpkin pail. Like, I used to work retail, and they used to every so often do what's called a bucket sale. And it was however many items you could fit in a bucket, it would get you like 15% off that entire purchase. That's something that would be kind of cool. But it has me wondering what that's going to fully entail. Of course, in my head, I'm thinking, is this going to be kind of a sly way for him to release Candy Corn and Cover Songs 3? Because he has already kind of teased it. He's teased it, but he's not teased it. He did it, actually, we're going to talk about this a little bit more in a minute. But he did a poll back in April about which type of album fans wanted him to work on the most. And I think going over that, it was Love, which was a horrorcore album, and The Fifth Oracle that tied for it. We're going to talk about that in a minute. I'm going to get ahead of myself. But yeah, the Pumpkin Pale Weekend definitely has my attention, and makes me wonder if maybe that's a way for him to even kind of slyly slide out the Candy Corn and Cover Songs 3, because I feel like he might have that in the tuck. And then another big one, October 11th, Book of Time is celebrating its 10-year anniversary. Book of Time is the second oracle in the series of 12 oracles. Again, sort of like his Joker cards, an absolutely great journey. If you've never listened to them, I would highly suggest checking them out. Make sure you have an open mind when you do it. They are experimental albums. They're not just strictly rap. They're not just strictly horrorcore. They're not just strictly rock and singing. They're a mixed bag of everything. And they tell a little bit of a story, so make sure you're paying attention when you listen. And you're not going to get it all on the first listen. I've listened to those albums several times, and I'm still kind of unraveling the journey in my own head. But I think it's open to interpretation, because that's kind of music. Music is art. Art is open for interpretation. But the 12 oracles are something to definitely check out if you enjoy that kind of thing. But yeah, Book of Time is celebrating 10 years. I don't know if that means we're getting like a deluxe edition of the album, or we're getting merchandise for the album. That's definitely something I'm excited for. Book of Time it's very tough. It's very hard for me to rank one album higher than the other. But Book of Time has some really great songs on there. Forever, Jesus Christ, that song is so goddamn good. Hall of the Lonely, another one, so fucking good. It's just a great album, and honestly, I think that's going to be the day that I do my review. I'm going to have my review ready, and I'm going to drop it on that date, because I need to do my review for the rest of the oracles. So, yeah, I'm going to hold myself to it. And if you're watching this right now, hit me up periodically. Hey, have you reviewed Book of Time yet? Because I think that'd be a great time to put that review out as well. And then the last thing on here that has my attention, really has my attention, is the Halloween Extravaganza. And this one I honestly thought maybe would be like a VR thing. But I think honestly that might be the Zargorg show. Every so often he pops on the Zargorg show, which is it's a show that Bad Luck runs. Supposedly it's Bad Luck. I don't want to break kayfabe. But Zargorg runs the show, and every so often Loke will be on there. Batty Bad has been on there, and they've done a lot of promotional stuff through that. And I feel like that's probably what the Halloween Extravaganza is going to be them on the Zargorg show, or it's going to be the Zargorg show. He has, and I don't want to say where he has said this, but he has confirmed, Loke has confirmed that there will be a new album dropping at the Halloween Extravaganza. He didn't say what. People are beginning to speculate. Some are speculating it's Candy Corn and Cover Songs 3, which is kind of a Halloween album. they're covered. He takes songs and he covers them, and he does amazing fucking job of doing so. If you have not listened to either one of the first two, definitely go check those out. He has a very amazing cover of Play With Me from ICP, and it was one that garnered him this from Violent J. So you know it's fucking good. Or maybe not, I don't know. Depending on how you feel about Violent J and his little stamp of approval on people. But he has gotten that shout out from Violent J. He's gotten that cosign from Violent J. You know, even giving him praise and blowing him shit about Possum Kingdom, which, you know, Loke did way the fuck better than Jay did. Just putting that out there. So the Halloween Extravaganza has a new album coming out. There are others that are speculating this will be the House 3, which is a horrorcore EP. He's released 2 of them now, and each of them, they're basically Halloween albums. So you can definitely go check those out if horrorcore interests you. If you're somebody who really doesn't care for, like, if horrorcore is your thing, there are albums to go check out. They're a pretty short listen. I think they're each only 4 or 5 songs long, maybe 6 songs long. So they're a nice, smooth, short little listen. And they have really great stories. The Child on the House 2, Jesus Christ, that song is deep. It's deep as fuck. So go check those albums out as well. As far as where I'm at on the speculation of what's coming out on Halloween, I firmly would say either Candy Corn and cover songs, or possibly even the House 3. I honestly don't have like a really good speculation of what's coming. I don't. Because I really don't know what he's got cooking. Now, this is where I wanted to go back and talk a little bit more about his poll. Because, like I said, back in April, Loke put out a poll. And it was basically, I don't have the original post. I have screenshots of the poll results because the day that the results ended, I took screenshots because I wanted to see which was basically going to win. Because if it disappeared, I wanted to have this to kind of look back on like this. So as you are seeing here, I have it flashing on the screen for you, or I have it on the screen for you. These are all of the albums that Loke more or less has confirmed are on his mind to work on. He put this poll out, and when he did this, he said it was which one basically, I'm paraphrasing here. It was basically which one of these albums should I focus on? Which should I give my full attention? I kind of speculated that some of these he may have either had almost done or already been working on, and this was just kind of his way of finding out what fans wanted to get first. That's my speculation. That doesn't not at all mean that's the case, but it was kind of my speculation. And that kind of, this new schedule kind of adds a tiny bit of weight to that. Just simply because Fraggle Swag 2 got 2%. This is, like, again, this screenshot here was from the final day of the poll. So it only had 2%. And we're getting a Fraggle Swag 2 on this new schedule. Candy Corn and Cover Songs 3 only got 4%. And if that's what he releases on Halloween, then that'll tell me that it was something he already had kind of in the works. Now, the other one that got really good poll results was Love, LXVE. I'm assuming that's how you would call it, is Love. And it's, you can see in the parentheses there, it's labeled as a horrorcore rap album. The only thing I can see him dropping on Halloween would be Candy Corn and Cover Songs, House 3, which wasn't even teased here. I know people have long been wanting that, though. Or, in my opinion, this horrorcore album. Last year he put out the Portraits of Horror EP. It was supposed to be an LP. Well, let's not sidetrack on that. He put that out pretty much right around Halloween. It's a very horrorcore album. So I firmly believe, if anything, it's Candy Corn and Cover Songs 3 or Love. I'm not saying that House 3 isn't likely, but it wasn't really teased. And if it is the House 3, then I will completely be surprised, just because, again, I feel like this little poll he put out was kind of his way of gauging what do the fans want to see the most. And maybe he's been working on all of these little by little. Because obviously if he's got them if he's got them on his mind, there are things that he's probably wanting to work on. And a lot of these were really fucking dope. Like, I immediately saw all of this and was like, I want it all. And I think we'll get it all eventually. But I think this was his way of finding like what people want to see the most. I don't think that it'll be the 5th Oracle. I don't think it'll be the feeding of Neculi, just because I feel like for an Oracle, he's going to put more promotion behind it. He's going to have more of a this is coming out kind of release for it. So I don't think it'll be that on Halloween. I firmly believe either Love. I could see Candy Corn and Cover Songs 3, and I could maybe see the House 3. Just because every other house has been released on Halloween, and they're basically around Halloween time, and they are essentially, you know, Halloween albums. So, yeah, a lot of fucking dopeness coming from Low Key. I've said it before. I'm going to say it again. I'm going to keep saying it. If you're not fucking with Low Key, you're fucking up. He is so goddamn talented. He's dope. He's killing it in the underground. You know, and for the longest time, he's carried the title, or you know, on Let's Get Violent, he had the song King of Horrorcore. King Gordy has carried that title, and what's his face? Skits Craven, I think it was, announced at the gathering this year, claims that he's the King of Horrorcore. I don't think that I would call Loke the King of Horrorcore. I would say that Loke is an underground legend. I would say Loke is the underground legend, because he's that legend you hear about. He's that myth you hear about of someone super fucking dope, super fucking talented, who just kills it. That's Loke. I don't want to box him in and say he's the King of Horrorcore. I don't think that that's appropriate at all. He's got a full song about it. Absolutely amazing. It's on Portraits of Horror. Make sure you go listen to that album. Like, if you leave this episode with anything, go check out Low Key. Because if you're not fucking with Loke, you're fucking up. That's like my slogan for Low Key. If you're not fucking with Low Key, you are fucking up. He's just super talented. The underground legend. That's Loke. So, yeah, I think we're gonna wrap it up on that, because I've spent a lot of time talking about this schedule, and I could probably talk for so long about it. There's just so much dope shit dropping. Yeah, just go check out Low Key. Go check out Low Key. Get excited for what's going on in the schedule. And yeah, tell me down below what you guys, if you are familiar with Low Key and you are excited for what's coming on this schedule, tell me down below what you are excited for. What has your attention the most? And who are you the most looking forward to playing at the Gathering of the Juggalos this year, minus Ouija Mac or ICP? Outside of those two, who are you the most excited to see? Anyways, I thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys next time.